Sometimes a man cheats on a woman who has it all together because that woman has it all together. And they feel insecure and inferior standing next to that woman.
I'm gonna say this one time and one time only. I am not the one he cheated with.
In Texas, which it looks like Kristy did file under infidelity, meaning she's basing this divorce on the fault of Desmond, you do get benefits in situations like this. This can include the reduced liability of having to pay spousal support, which we talked about in the first video. And it can also lead to Kristy getting more of the assets in the divorce process.
I think that Kristy Sarah's divorce was like inevitable.
All of this is staged. And if we're really here to gag, if she was boring and mysterious and just stood in the back of all the videos, y'all would have blamed her for that too. Well, she was boring. What do y'all want from women?
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Selena and today we have an interesting story. Really sad. So y'all saw the intro. Kristy, Sarah, and Desmond Scott have gotten a divorce and recently some drama has happened. And before we dive into this video, diving into theories around why they got a divorce and what's going to happen to their assets theoretically and the new drama with Desmond's lady, I do want to make a disclaimer. This is someone's real life and we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. We will talk more about some of the theories, but I do want to be respectful. Desmond and Kristy have 2 kids. Yeah, the divorce can be a really hard time in someone's life. Yeah, so just disclaimer, I do encourage you to tell me your opinions down below and your thoughts, but keep it respectful, especially towards them. You know, they have 2 kids. So before I get started, I am in a different area in my nursery. I know I normally film in my nursery. You guys know I'm nesting, so I have a lot of things, I guess, in this room right now that I'm trying to reconfigure. Let me know if you like this like cozy setup. I even have my Squishmallow here. I'm like, oh, it's kind of comfortable. So real quick, I just think it's kind of fun. Oh yeah, drink of the day is water. My quote-unquote coaster is this muslin like baby washcloth I got from Goodwill. It's 50 cents. But very soft. In the background, I wanted to show you these toys. So have y'all seen Atlantis, that Disney movie? Now, these were toys I think I got from like McDonald's Happy Meal a long time ago. Isn't that so cute? No, it is cool that I was able to keep some stuff from my childhood. It's like random stuff, but it is kind of the background in here. Y'all like it? It's kind of random. I feel like most people have themes with their nurseries. I just have colorful things. Let me put you guys on. Look at all these books I've been collecting. And Brad's sister loves to thrift. She found some of these books too. There's a stroller I found on Facebook Marketplace. Diapers. Another disclaimer, this is a rocking chair. We got it from Habitat for Humanity a long time ago. Sometimes it rocks and it has this like clicking sound, so if you hear a random sound, that's why. Okay, if you already know who Kristy, Sarah, and Desmond Scott are, skip to this timestamp. I'm gonna dive into a little bit of their background before we get into the drama and what has started with their divorce. But anyways, if you don't know who they are, Kristy Sarah, she had started her platform first on Tik Tok, and it was just a lot of what she does. Like she'll do things and then her husband will have a reaction.
Hey babe, I'm back. Can you come get my suitcase for me? Get my suitcase, please.
Kristy, what are you?
What?
Oh no.
What?
Who you been lying to?
What are you talking about? It's just a quick procedure.
Don't come
Babe.
out of the room. Don't come out.
I just got something really quick. You don't like it? It just enhances.
Who you been lying
It's just
to?
a small change.
Who's my Pinocchio? You been telling lies.
She does all kinds of things. She'll like try on heels and then she'll do running in them, squats, do backflips in heels.
Testing out my heels in front of my husband.
And then she'll wear really eccentric outfits that may not match the occasion. Like she'll go to a grocery store and wear a really nice gown. Or to the movie theater, she'll have like a popcorn purse or like a really fancy outfit. And then her husband will have like a reaction or his signature laugh.
Kristy. You look like the headless hood rat. The redefines ghetto. This looks like a battery maker robot.
It ended up becoming a couples channel. So her platform's username used to be It's the Scots, and recently she did change it to Kristy Sarah. She did help her husband Desmond create his platform, and he is a chef, so his social media is him with his cooking stuff. But on her platform, it's a lot of what she does, her outfits, and then also content that they do together on her platform. During the time of filming, he has 1.6 million followers on TikTok, and Kristy Sarah has 17.4 million followers on TikTok. So you can also take that into consideration. She has a larger following, which we'll get into later on. Also, for background, they have been together since they were 14 and or have known each other. They do say they were high school sweethearts, and you can see in past videos they have footage of each other when they were younger. They have been married for 11 years at this point. So on December 30th, Kristy Sarah filed for divorce, and this was a shock because they recently had built this beautiful home together. Like, beautiful. I try to go back because I didn't necessarily follow them on TikTok, but I think I followed her on YouTube actually, because I like watching her little flips. Like, to be honest, you guys, couples content is not necessarily for me, but I would like watch, you know, like I wouldn't watch all of it. I do like some of her videos where she gives him something and it's actually cake and it's like, whoa, that's cake. But I really like her videos where she has different purses and different heels. Anyways, going back to 2023, it looks like that's when they started building their beautiful home. So when news broke out that they were having a divorce, people were like, what about that house? Like, you guys just moved in 2025. You've been working on that house for forever.
I know people divorcing isn't any of our business, and you know, it's a clear personal thing, and you know, we're not old details, and you know, it's just very parasocial of us to be tapped in. But of course, like when it comes to celebrities and public figures, it does become news. That's just kind of how the cycle of like pop culture works. I simply cannot stop saying they just built that house though. The house. I can't stop thinking about that house, that big beautiful house they just built. Oh, what's gonna happen to the house? Who get the house? That's all. I don't think y'all understand how many times I've said that in the past 12 hours. The house, though. Who get the house? The patio furniture. The kitchen. Can I put my bid in? Just let me know if there's an estate sale or something. I'm sorry.
They also recently just celebrated their 11-year anniversary. It's a lot. I do want to dive into this US Magazine article because it does give more insight on the court filings. We don't know a lot right now, but with the new drama, I think this article gives good insight on what some of the background information is. So she filed for divorce on December 30th, and she stated that Desmond Scott has committed adultery. Now keep in mind, she filed in the state of Texas. I think they are residents of Houston, or at least residents in Texas, and I think they used to or have another residence in LA, but I believe their home is in Houston. The article says, in her petition, Kristy stated that their marriage has become insupportable because of discord or conflict of personalities, noting that destroys the legitimate ends of the marriage relationship and prevents any reasonable expectation of reconciliation. So Kristy's like, I'm done. You know what? No going back. You can't have me back. And that's what Kristy's saying. What's interesting though, adultery, some people consider different forms of cheating, right? Emotional cheating, you have physical cheating, but in the state of Texas, according to this article, adultery is defined as the voluntary sexual intercourse of a married person with someone other than their spouse. I'm interpreting this as he had already had intercourse with another person, then she filed. Because a lot of people are saying that she already had her receipts to submit to the courts, since she's claiming adultery and she's not claiming like irreconcilable differences or anything like that.
I'm actually happy that Kristy Scott is getting a divorce in Texas, because while we all know divorce is not an inherently happy thing, the fact that she's getting divorced in Texas is a happy thing in my opinion as an attorney, because of the protections that she gets with filing in Texas. Now, there's been too many times that we've seen successful women get railroaded in the divorce process because they are successful. And what we're talking about is spousal support. You know, we got the Mary J. Blige situation where she's paying spousal support. We got Kelly Clarkson where she's paying child support and spousal support. And I don't think that Kristy is going to end up like them because of the laws in Texas versus the laws in California and whatever other states that they got divorced in. Luckily for her, spousal support in Texas is limited to the person demonstrating that they can't meet their basic needs, not their high lifestyle needs, but their basic needs, and they have to be married for 10 years or prove some type of abuse, which can sometimes include infidelity, which we know Kristy is accusing Desmond of doing, which we'll get into that a little bit later. Even if the spouse can prove that they've been married for 10 years and that they suffered some type of abuse and they can't meet their basic needs, the spousal support is capped at $5,000 or 20% of the person's gross income. That means before taxes. Not only is she smart in the aspect of the spousal support area, she's also smart in the child support aspect, because I believe Texas caps the available income they can use for calculating child support at $11,700 per month, which is different from states like California, where if you make $20,000 a month, they're plugging $20,000 a month into that calculation. So if Desmond somehow does get custody of the kids, at least her child support will be limited. Kristy has filed formal documents with the court alleging him of the infidelity, which she has to do under penalty of perjury. So she cannot just be out here willy-nilly lying and say that he committed infidelity against her if he hadn't. At the time of filming this video, he has not filed anything in the court claiming that he did not cheat on her. So for now, I'm believing Kristy until proven otherwise. So infidelity, when it comes to getting a divorce in Texas, you can either do a fault divorce or a no-fault divorce. California is only a no-fault divorce state, meaning that even if your husband cheat on you, you don't get any benefits in your divorce. However, in Texas, which it looks like Kristy did file under infidelity, meaning she's basing this divorce on the fault of Desmond, you do get benefits in situations like this. This can include the reduced liability of having to pay spousal support, which we talked about in the first video, and it can also lead to Kristy getting more of the assets in the divorce process. Now, I don't know these people's funds, but given the amount of followers that each of them have, Kristy actually has a lot more than Desmond. I'm going to assume that she's the main breadwinner and she probably makes a lot more money than Desmond, so it makes sense that she wants to get more out of the divorce rather than just dividing everything 50-50, because let's face it, everything that they have been doing, they have been building during their marriage or at least during the relationship, so they would have some type of claim to either one of their businesses or either one of their accounts. And by going with the fault decision, it limits her liability and potentially getting to walk away with most of her stuff, if not all of her stuff, depending on how bad the infidelity was. I definitely think it's going to be interesting kind of going through their income, because with the businesses and the deductions, one of them might come in there saying they only make $10,000 a year because it's so expensive in order to run their business, and the other one might come in there saying they make millions a year. I'm going to lean more on the side that they make millions a year, and when we take out all those tax deductions that, you know, people be doing but may not be appropriate for divorce purposes or support purposes, they're probably both going to end up having a significant amount of income that the courts are looking at to divide. And people are shocked that Kristy is filing this divorce even after building a house with him. But honestly, she picked a smart route by saying that he committed infidelity if he really did, which we're going to assume that he did because she filed it in court paperwork under penalty of perjury. That can lead to her just getting the house and kicking him out and him moving right along.
We'll get to Desmond's response, but when I read this article, I was like, dang, he really did cheat. There were a lot of people saying like, well, they are Jehovah's Witnesses. Apparently, Kristy Sarah is a Jehovah's Witness, and I guess allegedly Desmond converted for her. So people were saying it could be that Desmond just said he cheated, or he just went ahead and cheated so he can get out of the marriage and Kristy won't be shunned from the church or excluded from the church.
So I was right about Desmond checking out of the marriage and that snowballing into him cheating. Doesn't make it right, but that kills y'all keep talking about, oh, every man cheats, happily married men. He wasn't happy anymore. Not saying it's right again, but that debunks that. But I didn't know that they were Jehovah's Witnesses, and as an ex-Jehovah's Witness, I can speak on this. That religion, like I've said before, is a cult. That religion, well, cult is the breeding grounds for narcissists. It constantly, through the rules and the belief systems, it enables narcissistic behavior. The marriages are built on narcissistic behavior. I grew up in it. I was born into it. I didn't have a choice until I turned 18. That was when I celebrated my first birthday. So unless you have your own mind or you're being forced and you're not old enough to leave yet, you're literally in training for narcissism. You're in training for depression. You're in training to feel superior to people that are not Jehovah's Witnesses. So even before this cheating happened, that marriage was not at all what y'all think it looked like. And I say this because I mean it. If you ever come across somebody and you meet somebody, you date somebody, you find out they're Jehovah's Witness, run the other way very fast.
Yeah, it appears that he really did cheat, at least from this article, and what else we're about to get into. Texas legal firm notes on their website that emotional affairs, sending inappropriate text messages, or spending time with another person are not by themselves considered legal adultery. So in my mind, that's confirming that he had to have some sort of intercourse somewhere. If it was emotional cheating, apparently that didn't count enough for adultery to be checked off when the divorce was filed. There's no further details on that, but apparently Kristy does have the receipts. So they do have 2 kids, ages 6 and 7, which I hope the kids are okay, because I feel like that's a lot. And when my parents got divorced, I was 3. It was not a pretty, cordial divorce. It was pretty ugly, so hopefully it's pretty cordial with them. I feel like just from reading this article, I think Kristy's being very smart about it. When it comes to the kids, Kristy informed the court that she and Desmond had a plan to enter a written agreement about custody, access, and support, and if they can't come to terms on an agreement, then they'll let the court decide. Kristy said they entered a marital property agreement which defines their rights to all property, both community and separate. Kristy said she and Desmond will enter in an agreement to divide their community estate, likely referring to the dream home they built before their split, which we'll get to because I think Kristy does get to keep the house. And Kristy made it clear that she no longer wants his last name and requested the court legally change her name back to her maiden name. She said, "I don't want anything to do with you." In my opinion. She also demanded that Desmond pay her attorney's fees as well as court costs and expenses related to the divorce case, as she should. You know what I mean? As she should. There's no date listed in their filing, but it looks like they will soon cease to live together as spouses, so they're gonna live separately pretty soon. Keep in mind the divorce filing was December 30th, 2025. January 10th, 2026, Desmond did respond in an Instagram story classic, and he said, "I want to begin by apologizing to Kristy, our family, and everyone who has been impacted by the public attention surrounding this situation. I know this news has been disappointing for many, and I'm truly sorry for the hurt it has caused. Kristy is the mother of my children, and that will always come first. I remain fully committed to being an active, present, and loving parent to our boys, as I have always been. Kristy and I faced challenges and made sincere efforts to work through them. Toward the end of 2025, I wanted to separate, and I had conversations with Kristy regarding this. During this time, I made choices that I am not proud of. I took responsibility for those actions. I shared this with her directly and personally, and ultimately we decided to divorce. I asked for privacy and compassion as we navigate this difficult chapter of our lives. Thank you to everyone who has supported us over the years. I'm grateful for that support and will continue sharing my love for cooking and the things that inspire me. I hope you'll continue that journey with me." It's a shameless plug at the end of that Instagram statement, isn't that? We read this screenshot off of the Instagram account, The Melanin Shades Room, and a couple people commented. So basically, he's saying he told her he wanted to leave, but she wanted to work it out with him. Instead of him trying to work it out with his wife, he went ahead and cheated, and that's what made her leave. He's mad wrong for this. Someone says, "Now I'm just curious who he cheated with, a he or she. This actually made it worse. The wording is horrid. I hope she heals." Yeah, you can tell this is not a ChatGPT apology statement. I do think that wording is horrible. I did see a video, I forget who, but when it says Kristy is the mother of my children, I heard someone say he should have said Kristy is the mother of our children. To be honest, I think he admits that he did cheat. For example, someone says, "How are you going to say my family comes first, but you stepped out your marriage?" Clearly the family did not come first. I know, because what is this? It sounds like towards the end of 2025 he wanted to separate, and I feel like, just judging off of this statement, it sounds like he wanted to separate and then immediately go ahead and be with another person, and then she was like, "That's still cheating," which I think it is. You're separated, but I have to wonder because they were still living in the same house. The article that we just read said they will soon live separately. So in my opinion, they were agreeing to work things out, or maybe he wanted to separate and then he started cheating. That's just what I think. What do you guys think? Now let's talk about reactions and theories to this whole situation. So a lot of people have been saying if they're divorcing, then I don't believe in love. I can't believe this.
Now, I told y'all motherfuckers love ain't real. Kristy and Desmond are getting a divorce. Love does not exist.
How could he cheat on Kristy? If he can cheat on her, then I have no chance at all. Like, that kind of stuff.
So I was telling my boyfriend about this whole Kristy and Desmond situation and how he cheated on her. And, you know, a lot of women are sitting here like, oh my God, like, look at her. Like, who would cheat on her? And he literally started laughing and was like, oh my God, when are women going to realize it's not always about them? And you know how be talking. I thought he was just being snarky. I was like, what the f***? But he low-key ate me up, though. Hold on. He literally told me that a man with no morals and no principles is going to fold every single time, no matter how good the girl looks, no matter how fine she is, no matter how good her body looks, no matter how good she smells, he will fold. Then he says to me, you know, me not cheating on you has nothing really to do with you or how much love I have for you. It's me as a man and my principles and my standards. And I'm going to stand on my principles every time. And it makes me realize, like, how often us as women, when we get done dirty or cheated on, how often we look at ourselves like, what's wrong with me? What did I do? It's not us. More of the story, it's not all about us. It's him.
Other people have been responding and saying, well, he is a golden retriever, but a dog is a dog. And they say all men will cheat. Speaking of dogs, that's my dog. See, you can see her. That stroller is clean, by the way. We got that from Facebook Marketplace, but we had nowhere else to put it. So if you hear a buff, my dog is just sleeping.
People are acting surprised, and let me tell you why you shouldn't be. I've seen lots of comments, people saying things like, I need to see the woman that he cheated with. I bet you she can't be as pretty, as smart, as intelligent, as popular. It doesn't matter. How many pretty women have to get cheated on? Beyonce, Nia Long, Halle Berry, Megan Fox. It's not about the looks. It's not about the money. It's not about the education. The person who they cheat with usually just offers them the 20% they feel like their wife is missing. She doesn't have to be better. Most of the time, she isn't. Sometimes a man cheats on a woman who has it all together because that woman has it all together. And they feel insecure and inferior standing next to that woman. I'm not saying that's what happened here, but I'm saying there's any number of reasons why a successful, popular, beautiful woman gets cheated on. And it doesn't always have to be because the other girl is prettier. If all these comments talk about, I don't believe in love anymore, love is fake, y'all say the same thing every time a pretty woman gets cheated on. Love is not fake, but some people do put their best foot forward when making couples content is how they make a living. Sometimes there is a pressure to perform happiness when your happy relationship is a key part of your business and how you make your money, how you support your children. And even with all that being said, who's to say that it wasn't real? At least for her. Not all men can handle the spotlight of being as popular as he is and all the women that come with it. Sometimes the person that they fall for isn't even a fan of theirs, she's a fan of their wife.
A lot of people have been saying, oh, I knew that they were going to divorce. I saw this from a mile away.
I might come across as a little offensive, but I think that Kristy Sarah's divorce was like inevitable. And I say that to say content creating with your husband is like a very odd thing to mix, because if one like doesn't feel the content creation, or if like they just start getting attention, there's like so many layers to like content creating with your husband that I personally would never content create with my husband full time. But I say that to say that I watched them for years. I've never cared for her. Not like I dislike her, I just think she's a lot. And like a lot of people said, she was not her husband's piece. Like she you could tell in every video, it was like, oh my God. Like he like was a prop for her to act crazy. And I think some of the videos were funny, but I think a lot of them were like definitely like to his demise. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, on your nerves. I'm gonna like slap this bag out of your hand, I'm gonna snatch these flowers from you. Like, it just never came across. And I felt like she didn't tell him half the time what they were doing, so like his reactions were totally what I thought they would be. And in my mind I'm thinking, I'm surprised he hasn't like cussed you out, because I think a lot of men would have been like, I'm not doing this anymore. But I don't know, like the logistics of it all. I'm curious if like he left her and then like started talking to somebody else the way it seems, or if like he cheated on her, what she filed in the divorce, like, oh, he just started seeing someone. Inevitably though, I saw this from a mile away. Like, it was just very odd behavior. What do you guys think? I mean, I definitely think that the divorce was like going to happen because she just disrespected her husband, to me personally, on a regular basis. And your husband is the head of the household. He's not like a prop for you to make content and be funny. And I think he wanted out.
I don't know. I have some opinions about that because I just feel like with couples content, if you make that your brand, I feel like it's really hard because you're probably with each other a lot of the time. You have to script together. You have to work together. You work from home. You also have assets together. You also have 2 kids, but that becomes your brand and your platform. I just feel like it becomes hard because her account became It's the Scotts at one point, and that was their platform. So I think that adds another layer to it. Piggybacking off of that, a lot of people have been saying, well, he was tired, like there were signs, and they'll say that they think that Kristy has been annoying and he was just over it. So in some of the videos I'm about to play, they would show that he's just kind of like always on his phone in the videos. Or his face is just over it, like with the reactions to the things that she does. And I have to wonder, with couples videos and couple platforms, I feel like you have to know that's staged, right? In earlier YouTube days, I feel like I would see a lot of pranking couples. I'm trying to remember. Was it iJustine? If I remember the exact people that I'm thinking of, I'll put them here. But I remember there would be like some pranking couple. They would prank each other a lot. And like I remember one time that she was taking a shower. Whoever I'm thinking of, I think she's blonde. And he put ice in her shower and I feel like she legit got upset. Like, can you imagine if your pranking content is constant? They have other things that they do, but a lot of their stuff is pranks. And whether they're planned or not, I think they're planned. I feel like that could be draining, you know? Always having to film a reaction. Him always having to do his laugh.
Kristy. Kristy, are those tongues? You look like the headless hood rat.
It looks cute. But I don't know. Like, again, we don't know what their life is like behind closed doors. And so I think if you don't agree with their content or you don't think that they're entertaining or funny, that still does not justify 2 people who agreed to a monogamous marriage and then 1 person cheated. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I just don't think that justifies anything. Remember when I said the follower count? So I don't think everything is about the number of followers or the number of views, but there was a theory that maybe he could be jealous of her success because she has way more followers, millions of followers than he does. And I do remember seeing some of her videos on YouTube where she got invited to the Oscars.
Guess what?
What?
I'm going to the Oscars.
The Oscars? Let me go get a bag.
You gotta take care of the kids.
Daddy, dude.
Who's gonna take care of the kids? Hey babe, I got here.
So you really left me?
Yeah, but just watch it live on Sunday at 4 p.m. I'll be flipping across the carpet.
In doing the research for this video, I saw that she was on Ridiculousness. I also saw that she pranked Desmond and she had Alicia Keys in their kitchen.
We're gonna be doing the lyric challenge.
Baby, 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 from the day I saw you, baby, baby, wanna kiss your eyes.
You know, she's so successful, and whether you like Kristy or not, you cannot discount her drive. But she is a smart lady, she's beautiful. She's worked hard for what she's had, and she's been super smart about how she filed for divorce, because I do believe that she can still protect her financial piece of this. Because who knows if they got a prenup before they got married, but with their success, I think because she filed in the state of Texas, she's able to protect her money, especially because it was adultery. I keep thinking about that house though, like just so big. Something that I also keep thinking about is that Desmond is the chef and she always talks about how she can't boil an egg or she's not the best cook. And I've seen those pranking videos where she'll say cooking for my chef husband, and it'll be like either something that looks like food and it's cake.
Serving my husband a realistic cake and seeing if he notices.
Just to prove that this is actually cake. Hey babe. Here.
Service with a smile. Thank you.
Kristy!
Or it'll be something silly like ramen, and then she'll put the seasoning packet on the noodles and then walk away.
Giving my chef husband a break. Breakfast. Lunch.
Okay, Hop, I ain't even mad. Kristy! Kristy, where's the walk?
You can't tell me that that wasn't staged because Desmond was recording the whole time. But the thing about their content being quote-unquote staged, for me, in my opinion, is that it's not as obvious as other ones. Like, this is my opinion, but Nika Diwa and her husband, I feel like their content is like so staged.
What were the circumstances and who was it that put their hands on my princess?
Wait, somebody hit Zizi? Tell me somebody didn't hit Zizi.
Yeah, I need to know all the details.
No. Hi, this is Zizi's mom. I heard that somebody hit my child, and I love Jesus, but I am not that saved. So I'm gonna need you to give me the details as to what exactly happened. Hello? Hello?
That's you. That's you right there. Mrs. Not That Saved. That's you.
God knows my heart.
Or like a lot of those videos where someone is having their partner rate their outfits or react to their outfits, and I feel like it's so awkward because it's like, someone set up a tripod and I don't think the audience should be watching this. I feel like Desmond and Kristy's content, even though it was couples content, I feel like there was something different about it, and that's why they had millions of viewers. So this is no hate to anyone, but just keeping that in mind, like thinking about them divorcing, I feel like that's why the reactions were so, I don't want to say reactionary, but I feel like that's why a lot of people had emotion when reacting to this. And also too with Kristy and Desmond, we know that they have a history and they've known each other before the fame, and so I think that makes it different when we think of their couples content because they've been together for a while. It's not like they were together 2 to 3 years ago. Because they have that story of being high school sweethearts, it makes it different for how the audience views them, in my opinion.
It is really bothering me that a lot of people are not talking about the fact that Kristy and Desmond were essentially together for half of their life. They met when they were 14, got married at 18, and now in their early 30s they're getting a divorce, right? That means for half of their life was about this couple and being with each other. That tells me that they did not get a chance to really live life without each other, right? Which makes sense to why he decided to cheat. I'm a 23-year-old right now. Being together with somebody since I was 14 sounds like a horror story, right? This is probably what he was going through, right? And I'm not defending his choice in cheating, but I'm saying that's probably why he did what he did, right? When I heard the year that they were together and then hearing that he cheated, I was like, well, that just adds up to me, right? This is so funny to me because a few days ago I saw a TikTok of somebody saying that people who are in long-term relationships from a young age are stunted. And I couldn't agree more with that statement, right? Because when you are in a relationship from a young age, from 14 to 30 something, that means that you didn't get a chance of starting a relationship, breaking up, rebounding, having a era, right? Getting to play the field, seeing what you really like, what you really want. It's like having a one-night stand, a pregnancy scare, you know, breaking up, getting back together, having those kind of dynamics. They never got to learn about that, right? This is why I don't like the idea of getting married so young. I'm so sorry. 18 and being married, mind you, you were in a long-term relationship at the age of 18. What? It's crazy to me. I just can't think of that. I can't know. So let's be for real. I feel like men are a lot more encouraged, you know, be out in the streets and, you know, discover that side of them, you know, be a little bit more promiscuous compared to women. Then there is the whole religious aspect of it as well, you know. So let me be a hot take. I don't think an 18-year-old really understands the importance of being married. I'm gonna be so froze, y'all. I don't care, in religion, out of religion, I don't think an 18-year-old in today's day and age, even when they get married, truly understands the importance of a marriage, right? That's why your average 18-year-old is not getting married at this age, right? Now you're 30, going through a divorce, and now you're another cheater, and now you have all these kids in this beautiful house, and everybody watching you, right? This is why y'all have to be incredibly careful with something like marriage.
I mean, they have so many views on their videos. And for me, as someone who does not generally like couples content, I don't mind watching her videos or some of their couples videos. Like when she's doing her jumps in the heels and her husband's like in the background. I think it's so impressive that she does like the stuff in the heels. I don't know. I do feel like there was something special about their content and her content. So it is sad to see. And then also too, just knowing that they have 2 kids. So I don't know if y'all saw this, but TMZ released a video of Desmond in a bar with a lady on his lap, and they are making out, like swapping tongues. Her tongue is deep down his throat. His tongue is deep down her throat. They're like kissing from side to side. It's like, whoa. Y'all need to get a room. And they are like out and about in the bar.
Desmond doesn't care about being called a cheater because he is making out with another woman allegedly in public that was caught by TMZ. Kristy filed for divorce and it hasn't even been a month yet, and Desmond is just out and about and doesn't even care about the public eyes. I cannot make this up. Kristy just cut her hair. She claimed the house that they just built, while Desmond is out. I wonder the girl that he's with now, if it's the same girl that he's cheating on Kristy with. Like, he has no shame in his game. I also wonder if the reason why he is so public is people are online talking about how he's, you know, with a guy or cheated on Kristy with a guy, and he's just proving a point that it's not a guy. Yo, like, this is like none of my business. I just think TMZ is so messy, and at the same time, I have no one to talk about this with. Like, at the end of the day, I hope they do things that they love, even if they're not together as a couple anymore. And I wish nothing but the best for Kristy as a mom, having 2 kids together and have to co-parent with Desmond as well.
It appears to me that someone might just be recording from afar, and it seems like a crowded area because there's totally like a dude kind of in the angle, like kind of watching them, maybe unintentionally. In my opinion, Desmond had to know that he's out in public doing all this. It's either this is a PR stunt or he is that horny and wants to just be out here in the streets already. Also, who knows if this was a PR stunt, and who knows if this was done before the divorce filing on December 30th. Either way, he wasted no time. I do wonder if this is one of those instances that Kristy would have known about before filing for the divorce. What do y'all think about that? Do you think Desmond called TMZ up, called the paparazzi there? A lot of people are saying they think he did call TMZ because he was tired of the gay allegations, which I don't think we should assume someone's sexual orientation. TMZ does have an article that sheds a little bit more light about this. Desmond Scott's mystery makeout partner. Yeah, the one he was locking lips with. Just 2 days after we broke the story, his estranged wife Kristy hit him with divorce paper. Wait. Desmond Scott's mystery makeout partner. Yeah, the one he was locking lips with just 2 days after we broke the story, his estranged wife Kristy hit him with divorce papers, has officially been identified. Okay, that was kind of a run-on sentence, TMZ, but from what I understand from that after reading it more than once, it sounds like Desmond was at the bar with this lady 2 days after Kristy filed for divorce. So New Year's Day? Let's keep reading. Sources familiar with the situation tell TMZ the woman getting hot and heavy with Desmond last Sunday is Marissa Springer, a 24-year-old Houston model who's also currently in school working toward her master's degree in business. She's studying business, and now we're all going to be up in her business because Tik Tok FBI investigators have probably found her before TMZ did, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. You guys are so fast on finding things out. We're told the two met for the first time earlier that night at Houston bar Sante? I'm gonna say Sante. Through a mutual pal. And Marissa had no clue about Desmond's online fame. I feel like that's a lie. But, you know. You never know. I didn't know who Mr. Beast was until the scandals, so wasn't he like really popular? Our sources say it was also her understanding that he was single at the time. As for how things escalated so quickly, we're told there was an instant spark, and with a few drinks flowing, it turned into drunken fun that heated up fast. It's unclear whether this turns into anything more. How could it have not turned into anything more? If she was wearing a skirt, I just feel like one wrong move and it would have been public indecency, or it could have been a charge for doing it in public. That's in my opinion. Like, they were all over each other. What do you guys think? TMZ broke the news last week. Kristy filed for divorce in Texas, with Desmond later owning up to making choices he says he's not proud of. And you know what? When he made that statement and said choices, I think he cheated on Kristy more than once at that point. Some of the comments in this TMZ article are talking about Marissa's appearance, so they say, no disrespect, but is this a transgender person? That was my thought. Geez, mine too. I was thinking the same thing. Sad to say, it was my oh my gosh, dang. Tisk tisk, they're never as pretty as the wife. Never. Maybe the swooshing breeze of legs constantly engaged gave this... I have no idea what that means. This is exactly what happens when you build your content around the success of your relationship and sell the story to all your viewers that yours is true love. We've been together since we were 14 years old and we made it. Yeah, look at them now. Let this be a warning to content creators who use and depend on their relationships for content. I agree. I do think it becomes a slippery slope, especially since Kristy and Desmond knew each other for so long. But when you build a brand with someone, I think it's really important to consider all the legalities and assets that come into that. Because, like their house, they have kids. How are they going to split the accounts, right? It was Kristy's account that got changed to it's the Scots. Now it's back to Kristy's account. I mean, these are things that you probably don't necessarily think about up front, to be honest. She probably thought Desmond was endgame, that he would never do this. That is something to think about. They just met, so that's not even the mistress. Desmond needs to slow it down and stop acting like a dog in heat. Maybe he's not acting. Regardless, she's definitely not an upgrade to Kristy, which is going to be hard. And that's the thing too, because a lot of people are saying maybe it's just because he's really only been with Kristy and he didn't have his quote-unquote hoe phase, or he didn't have experience dating other people. And so maybe that's why this person said he's acting like a dog in heat. I don't know.
And when a woman cuts her hair, you know she's done, because that bob is nasty. Kristy just made her first post to Instagram since it was announced she was divorcing her husband, Desmond Scott, for allegedly cheating. And y'all, I must say, she looks incredible. We must go through the pictures. The body, the bob, because that bob does mean business, with the makeup and the dress. Girl, she is straight coffee, because tea is not strong enough. And then she captioned the photos, "Say my dress." Pretty legendary, letting everybody know, I don't know why y'all are worried about the house, because I ain't going nowhere. This house is mine. Not sure where Desmond gonna be at, but Kristy gonna be at her address. Other than Kristy and the kids' well-being, of course, everybody was wondering who was gonna get the house. Are they gonna have to split the assets down the middle? I'm telling you, these men do not care when or how they embarrass you, because already being a cheater is bad enough, but to wait until you go through all of these milestones, like getting married, having kids, building an empire, building a house, and then he still decided to show his. Kristy was really like, and, because one monkey don't stop no show, and she was already the show. That we will continue to watch. Can't say the same thing for her soon-to-be ex-husband, though.
I just feel like Desmond had to have known that he is considered a public figure, and someone would have noticed him in public swap and spit. You know what I mean? What do you guys think? Again, I really just hope that whatever happens, that everybody finds healing, and I hope Kristy continues on with her success. I mean, she is the one who started their account. Desmond, I wonder what you're cooking. I hope Kristy gets a private chef, or if she continues on with her cooking journey, I hope that goes well. Desmond, I thought everything would be like toned down for you, and then the TMZ thing came out. Maybe you should just get with a PR person or something. I do not know. But I do feel like you might be getting a lot of traction to your account, especially with everything that has come out.
I have nothing nice to say. I have no marketing advice. I have no pivot for him. I already told y'all 2 days ago, whatever woman we see with him, people are going to assume that's who he cheated on his wife with. Look what's happening. Mind you, Desmond, I thought you were Himothy. I thought you were him. You couldn't even get a private room at a lounge in Houston? Hello? You didn't think maybe I should put everyone on NDAs because I'm in a highly contested divorce right now? What is going on? Your lawyer is fuming. I already know. Until you weird pick-me that think, oh, well, yeah, she is, Kristy was annoying, and like, I get it, and of course men sometimes they want attention and affection, of course he would cheat on her. What, you want a wet too? Because he never gave Trick, let's be very clear. Nothing about Desmond gave Trick. The most you're getting is getting upset. So what the fuck is it? And to the men that fight so hard, tooth and nail, saying, you have a baby and y'all fall off and look a mess, Kristy kept herself up. Body tea, face tea, always kept a sickening outfit, kept her makeup on. Y'all have ran through, all y'all done fucked everybody. The only man Kristy's ever been with is her husband. I would even argue the only man she's ever kissed is probably her husband, because she's a Jehovah's Witness. Oh, you are using us for our $47 and you just want to take our money. Kristy is a money-making magnet. And if we're really here to gag, Kristy is the light-skinned biracial woman of y'all's dreams. So what is it? What do y'all want from women? What do y'all want us to do? And before y'all say, well, she was annoying, the skits are rehearsed. Are you the tooth fairy's also fake. I hope y'all know that. Santa's not real. That's just a random in a fat suit at the mall. All of this is staged. And if we're really here to gag, if she was boring and mysterious and just stood in the back of all the videos, y'all would have blamed her for that too. Well, she was boring. What do y'all want from women? You red pill incel with a ring light and a microphone. I don't want to hear from y'all ever again. I don't want to hear from y'all ever again and again till you pick me ass. All you're getting is a wet. And you better hope, because in North Carolina, the woman that you cheat with also can be held accountable. Look at Brene. Do y'all want to go to court? Ugh, y'all disgust me. Ugh.
I'm gonna say this one time and one time only. I am not the one he cheated with. Everyone involved in the situation knows that it was not me. And let's clear the air right now. I am definitely not transgender. I've always been a girl. I was born a girl. I am a girl. I'm just a girl. I love being a girl. No offense to the transgenders. And why are you guys calling a clearly straight man gay as an insult? I thought that was something we don't do in 2026. I did not call TMZ on myself. All the information that was released about me is public information and it's listed on my Instagram. They reached out to me the day they were going to release it, saying that they had confirmed who I was and if I wanted to add anything on and make a statement, which is when I told them that I did not know who he was prior and that we had barely met that night. I'm pretty sure when you guys meet someone at a club, you don't interrogate them about who or what their social media status is. We were obviously many drinks in. The vibes were there, as you could tell. They are divorced. The ink is definitely dry. Most of you guys don't actually know these people. I don't have kids. I don't cook. I don't really watch family content. I'm not on that side of TikTok. Also, there's so many fake accounts of me right now and a whole fake relationship. I don't have a boyfriend. This is my only TikTok account. I've also seen so many TikTok stories that said I asked him to buy me a bottle, which is insane work. I would never do that. I'm gonna get hate regardless if I post a video or not, but I just wanted to clear my name because again, I am not the woman that he cheated with. Moral of the story, nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors and it should never reach the extent of having death threats to you or your family.
Well, Marissa, thanks for stopping by and clearing that up because that was a really random thing to lie about in general. I was wondering where her two videos went because they're both not there anymore. For the rest of you lost, this is Ray. She was there. She said she witnessed the interaction between Desmond and Marissa and that Marissa had said, hey, if you buy me a bottle, I'll sit next to you or sit with you, and that Desmond had bought her a bottle. Now, forget all this bottle mess, though. People wanted to know why you so confidently were saying that the ink was dry on the divorce. And I do see that you're telling people, well, we know each other now. So I take it that he told you, and that's why you were just repeating that? And I see other people letting you know, girl, it is not dry yet, or it's not official yet, you know. And that's probably why everyone was thrown off to see you pop up with him, because Kristy just filed December 30th. And I mean, really, whatever conversation happened between you and Desmond, clearly that is between you two. See, but I had a question as to why were you piggybacking, you barely known this man a few days at this point, on Kevin Gates' disrespectful video about his marriage with Kristy. I think that's what a lot of people didn't like as well. It came across like you were excited about the attention this is garnering. Even if you tell us right now, no, that wasn't the case. But prayer hands, it was a little weird. It is a little weird. And then when I saw this comment by your friend Bree on your, telling us all the details video, it reminded me of her comment here before we even knew about you. And again, this is another reason why people were like, were y'all plotting all along? Were y'all talking all along? What's going on? technically, we're really all just fucking nosy, so you don't even have to explain this either. I did see you cleared up who this guy is in your birthday video. You said it's your buddy Justin, so the rest of y'all can stop commenting that part in my comments. That is not Desmond. But anyway, yeah. I'm not sending you any hate your way. The aftermath of this has already been a mess as it is. But thanks for clearing up the bottle part.
I hope the kids are okay. I mean, this is a lot. I didn't think I was going to talk about this, and then that drama happened, and I was like, a lot of things to consider. What do you guys think? I feel like it's super hard, especially because 1, they've known each other for a long time. 2, they built a brand together, and that may have not been always the plan. Like, I think they did a baby moon video on their YouTube, and then Kristy started her TikTok. So sometimes these things just organically happen, and then as you evolve in your relationship and you evolve together, maybe you grow apart. Other people are saying there were signs that Desmond was annoyed with Kristy, but honestly, I feel like content's rehearsed, right? Especially if they have to review it before they publish it. So in my opinion, I think he was in on it. And if anything, he was probably agitated all the way to the bank. This is what they do for a living. So in my opinion, I think they were both in on it. And because they're both in the content, they'd review it before they publish it. There is this one video that people were talking about, saying that they were genuinely annoyed with each other and there was tension. What do you guys think about this?
When people ask if there were signs.
That, it's a supersized cinnamon roll, and I have the
that is glutton
cream right here. Yeah, mama. We're about to lace this thing up.
You gotta leave my mama out of this.
It's a 5-pound cinnamon roll.
Is it really?
Yeah. This is what it's looking like. Oh, and by the way, if you thought these were real cherries, it's a purse.
Nobody thought
I'm about
that.
to dig in. You said no one thought they were cherries?
Yeah.
Everybody thought they were cherries. Look at this one slice compared to my head.
No, that's a comparison.
I was just waiting on you. Your head is triple the size of mine.
Exactly. We share familial bonds.
And you're shaped like a grasshopper. What?
But I also feel like you can't necessarily detect everything in someone's relationship just from what they choose to post online. You know what I mean? Maybe that's how they play back and forth. Again, we don't know these folks, so alright y'all, that is the end of today's video. Tell me your thoughts down below. Keep it respectful in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. If you don't, I just appreciate you being here, and I will see y'all in my next video.